Hello team, Penny from Midwinter Minis here. You might remember this chap, this is X-101, and Guy already painted it. But guess what? As spotted by quite a few of you in the comments, he forgot a bit. The gun thingy. So yeah, in the rush to get this video out, he forgot to paint the Grav Gun, I'm informed that it is called, on this dude's backpack. So today, it's down to me to sort it out. This video might be useful to see how to paint things in sub-assemblies, where you do the little bits separately to make it easier to get into the hard to reach places. It's also handy to see how to work with quite different colours or techniques without worrying how it will affect the other bits. But let's not mess about. The best bit is you get to see me painting something. Ha! Great. But that's why you subscribed, isn't it? We all know the truth. As Guy's already painted the actual model, this little nub where this gun would just push on is now a little bit too big because it's got paint all over it. So to get around this, you can use a hobby knife or a small file to gently remove some of the paint on the contact point, being careful not to scrape the actual model and ruin your beautiful paint job from before. This also reveals some plastic, which will let the plastic glue bond better. We've found that cocktail sticks are the perfect thickness to jam into these holes, but if your hole is smaller, wink, you might need to use a bit of wire from a paperclip or something. I put a teeny weeny bit of super glue on the end of the stick to help stop it from falling off, but only a tiny bit so that we can still remove it later. So now that it's firmly on the stick, we stuck it on a little plastic cup thing with some blue tack and primed it black. Black is a great undercoat for greys and silvers, which is the colours that this thing is gonna be. I then cracked out some grey paint to start dry brushing the whole gun. I also got paint on my hand because a certain company's pots are a little bit cramped. When you're dry brushing, you want hardly any paint on your brush. Just gently swoosh your brush back and forth all over, and this adds some subtle highlights to the edges and raised bits. I then did the same thing with white paint, but it was way lighter, so only a tiny bit rubbed off on the gun. I still want this to look black, so it's important that there's lots of black still showing on the main part of it. I then used silver paint thinned with a bit of water to paint 3 sections on this gun, using the box art for a little bit of guidance. I painted the front nozzly bit with the cross on it, the pipey, holy-woly gubbensy bit behind it, and then a little metal plate on the underside of the back bit, because attention to detail. Once you're done with the silver, let's paint that little bulb thing on the top of the gun. I mixed blue and white to make a sky blue, thinned it with a bit of water and painted the main body of the bulb. Don't worry if you get the paint on a little bit of the housing, like I did, it'll just look like a glow, hopefully. Who cares, it's very small. Before that paint dries, I added a bit more white and put a blob of the new paint on the top half of the bulb. I then got rid of all the paint from my brush and dragged gently upwards, blending those 2 colours into each other. Looks pretty good, right? And it's well easy. Turns out wet blending isn't as scary as I thought. Finally, I added a tiny bit more white and then just dotted the top to make it look like the brightest part. To break up the monotone look a bit, I painted the cable on the back brown. Guy suggested purple, but purple is an awful colour, so it's now brown. So, almost done. The second last step is to add some black wash to the silver parts. This will help make it look shadowy and less bright and shiny. I also painted the brown pipe with this wash too. Right, give your model 15 minutes or so to let that wash dry, and while I try not to kill Yoshi, big thanks to Adam, Colin, Jeremy, Ashley, Philip, Tazzy Tiger and Brimsker for becoming patrons of Midwinter Minis since our last video. We're glad you're enjoying the channel. If you want to find out more about our Patreon or anything else about the channel, there's links to all that stuff in the video description. Go nuts. Also, like, comment and subscribe. So, in the next step, I'm going to use a slightly different brush. This one has a small flat side, which is useful for being a bit more precise when you dry brush. I'm going to use it to gently buff some silver onto the metal parts to give them a little more shine, but leave the shadows in the recesses. Make sure you've wiped almost all the paint off your brush before you do this. Okay, and we're done. Now, to break the superglue bond, remember to twist, don't pull. Stick a bit of plastic glue in the hole and then attach it to your model. Plastic glue gives you about 20 seconds to make sure the pose is right. After that, leave it alone and let it do its magic. And there we go! X-101 is now complete, gun and all, and ready to definitely not sabotage your mission in the Blackstone Fortress. Thanks for watching, and see you in the comment section! Bye! Oh, also, I made sure to leave some funny little videos for Guy when he left me alone with all the filming stuff for about 5 minutes, so enjoy! Fight!
No, Father, why did you forget my gun? Why have you forsaken me so? Ah. Beep boop, beep boop.